Before we start, if anybody has the phone on at the moment, please put it in the silent mode. And today we are going to speak only Konkani and English. So choose which one. English.
Thank you for having me in this festival, and let me officially thank Kolkata Film Festival for having our film with dammam here. So my previous films are screened here, but I never have an opportunity to come here. The first time I'm in the festival. My name is, as I mentioned, Jay Cherian. I'm a filmmaker. Originally born in Kerala. I'm based in New York. I'm kind of a diaspora filmmaker. About the film, which is about African diaspora in India, Siddhi community, you probably heard about. And African diaspora, African presence in India is just not monolithic. There is various waves of African presence in India. We have monarchs, we have mercenaries, and huge historical figures like Mali Kapur or Jalaluddin Yaqut in history. And this is particularly African diaspora who is the descendants of chattel slavery conducted by post-industrial revolution slave trade, the colonial slave trade, by predominantly Portuguese slave traders and Arab slave traders. As you all know, in India, slavery was ended officially in British India 1835, and Portuguese Goa still continued the slave trade until 1865. After the post-slavery time,
Sorry, 1865 or 1960?
1865, and this in between there is a lot of slaves run away to the British India, which is currently in Konkan region, Konkan forest, and they create their own communes, especially Goan slaves, and they started to cultivate the land in the middle of the forest. And later, the local landlords re-enslaved them into their labor pool, and they are slowly ensnared into a different kind of slavery, which is millennium-old caste-based slavery. And that is the story of the Siddhi community in Konkan region. And they speak a language, a Siddhi dialect of Konkani, but it is not Konkani. It is really an independent Siddhi Bhasha. They call it itself Siddhi Bhasha. Unfortunately, our government is not recognized that language as a language, so we had to tag this language to the nearest opposite language, which is Konkani, which is the Siddhi dialect of Konkani. But that language is particularly as Haitian Creole in Haiti, you can see the French Creole, or Jamaican Patois, or Portuguese Creole in Brazil. Same as simultaneously, this language formed in formerly enslaved people's communities all around the world. But as it is, this is the first film in that particular language. So it is kind of rare language.
So, but why are you calling it Konkani?
That's what I told you.
Yeah.
Because there is no way
That it will be identified. But UNESCO has listed languages into 4 sections: dying, already dead, dangerous, and so on. About to die. Those kind of. I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong language.
No.
But
I have to
yes,
engage that.
yes,
It's very good.
Please, yes.
Doubt.
I have worked in the little languages, and that's
No,
why.
Creole has its own politics. The Creole is kind of historically created by the enslaved community, taking the master's language and divert and communicate themselves without
Hybrid?
no hybrid. Is also there is a politics to it.
Yeah.
You're taking the master's language and diverting it and communicating each other without understanding, without actually hiding the communication from their masters. So that historically formed Creoles are recognized around the world, especially that I mentioned Haiti. Haiti's Creole, and also in Portuguese Brazil. No, that's called Portuguese Creole. And also City community in Sri Lanka right now speaking that Portuguese Creole. In Brazil, the same. The same you can see the English imperialist people call it Jamaican pidgin language, like a Jamaican patois. That word is kind of very colonial and intrinsically it is kind of very orientalistic, racist term. That's why I avoid that word. And actually, when if we get into the politics of the language, it is a lot. But my intention to create this film, when we, yeah.
That is why I specifically asked you. That is why I specifically asked you about the language first.
And also, the film is talk about African diaspora history in that particular region in India, which is always very live and there is voice but unheard, unspoken. In a way, the histories are erased too. And actually, this film about memory. So it is memory at the same time is trauma too. There is an idea of intergenerational trauma. That trauma which is in this film, the idea of post-traumatic slave syndrome, which is a terminology coined out by one of the American critic and psychologist, Dr. Joyce Drew, and which her theory is that the contemporary diaspora community have the traumas from the huge genocidal human trafficking from few generations ago. But
Did you get this here? Sorry, I'm not cutting in. You continue. Did you get this idea by staying in USA? I mean, like, would you have thought about this film if you had stayed on in India?
Yeah, for me, you know, I told you I'm a diaspora person. My previous film is also a marginalized community in other side of Western Ghats. It's Papilio, which was shown here. But my research about the human trafficking starts in early 90s while I was an undergrad student at Harlem City University in New York. But I was following the traffic from India, especially from Kolkata to Americas, like Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, the three Guyanas filled with the Indian diaspora. When
which Amitabh Ghosh writes
yeah,
about.
that is the pre-endangered servitude time. After the colonial slavery ended in 1835, the colonial forces tried to find new way to conduct the human labor flow, which is the endangered servitude and everything. But before 1835, there is abundantly slaves from Indian subcontinent being transported to Africa and Americas and all around. I was following that. Then I realized that, and I found out articles, there is Indian Ocean slave trade which is never spoken. So several people are talking about transatlantic slave trade, and there is a lot of articles, huge academia, faculties running out of it for centuries. I mean, almost. And then very few people are talking about this trans-Indian Ocean slave trade. So I stumbled upon few articles and few scholarly works in the early 90s. Then I started my research, and I started this project in 2016. My last film, Cowboy Escapes, was finished. So I moved to Karwar and Yellapur area, their city community very peculiar and unique because they divide us two, three communities. One is Hindu cities and Christian cities and Muslim cities. All the Muslim masters.
So, did they come as three different people? They came as one people and got
Yeah,
killed.
that's very interesting fact. When I follow this archival materials, the same family, even same person, where whoever they sold to, they became their religion. There is a person, there is some, one of my friend's great grandfather, his name was Kasim. He was bought from Mozambique to Gobenport and he sold to uh, bought by Bijapur Sultan, and he sold back to one of the governed sugarcane farmer in Halyar region, and he named as Bastu, that is the Portuguese form of Sebastian. And the same person was bought by one Hebar in Yellapur. Later, his name became Kadavati. And his great grandson is my friend when I was living with him.
This is
His
so
name is also
interesting.
Ganapati. And this was actually they lost their religion. So majority of the people coming from the East African region, very diverse Bantu tradition people, and this their religion they are
As in
following right now.
as in the tribe, as
Yeah.
in Bantu tribe.
The tribe is kind of a problematic word. They are the generally conquered people from around several countries in Africa. But these people are transported to Mozambique and in an industrial scale, they're being transported, cargoed across the transatlantic and
I'll come back to the tribe concept maybe outside, but before that, before we even go deeper into your own experience, I want to just bring up a film which which was made by Tapan Sinha from a story by Tagore. The Hungry Stones made Khudito Pasha, the Hungry Stone. There he had depicted the slave trades, the slaves being brought into India during the time of the Badshahs and the Mughals and whatever, or the slave dynasty.
Yeah, there is several reference in there's Bollywood film called Rasya Sultana, right? It's in 90s.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes, was one of the slave dynasty, but in Hungary Stones, it's a memory. You're talking about, the trauma of memory, remembered past. Yeah, so Kudita Bashan is just that. That's why I just brought up this. You've not seen the film, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I know.
But you've read?
I heard about it. And this, I mentioned Rasya Sultana film. There was several characters, Rasya Sultana's captain, who is Jalaluddin Yaqut,
Right.
and who was a secret paramour. That was, and the film, and Jalaluddin Yaqut was depicted in the film by an actor, Dharmendra.
Right.
Can you believe that? That is kind of a white face
Yeah.
of this kind of Hollywood racist
Right.
time.
Yeah.
We can, that's funny thing you mentioned that. And it is very.
Mama when he had played
Yeah.
Razia Sultan.
And also the several figures like a huge figure in Ahmednagar. I mentioned his name Malik Ambar. Malik Ambar was kind of very influential figure in that region. And also Malik Ambar's life is very interesting. His name was Chapu. He born in Ethiopia. He sold in Morocco, and then one slave trader brought him to Baghdad. And from the Baghdad, there is a person called Alis Khan, David Khan, and his other name is Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan is a nickname. And he was he's a Habshi man, he was minister of Bijapur Sultan.
Oh, okay.
And he brought him to Ahmednagar. And this boy was very extraordinary warrior, and he became climbed the ladders of the
Rose
hierarchies
high.
of the Rose higher up,
Yes.
and he started his own mercenary army, and he defeated Mughals, and that's history,
Okay.
like Jahangir's depiction.
So Bijapur also for a very long time it had a very strong anti-Mughal, anti.
Janjira Island, established by this dynasty, and Janjira Nawab was independent kingdom until 1949, joined Indian Union. And it is kind of huge history. They resisted all colonial forces. Portuguese people, even Marathas tried to conquer Janjira Island, never happened. And this kind of African presence are there. But this community I am dealing with, they are the descendant of.
The cities have a large presence in Gujarat.
Yeah, Gujarat.
Gujarat, yes.
And in Bengal also there is it's like a small period of slave kingdom, Habshi kingdom.
Options. Yeah.
Sir, your mother language?
I would just
Your
say
mother language?
conversation with it.
Malayalam. I'm born in Kerala.
Yeah.
I just want to know one thing. There is so much your film, so much of history, underground, I mean, hidden history. I mean, beneath the layer, beneath the story. How will it reach the rest of India if it's in an unheard, rare language? You don't want it to be in Hindi or somewhat, maybe English.
Okay.
So that is the word unheard, rare language. That is defense. That is very, very kind of oppressive terminology used by who unheard. That the white man called Middle East, and where is the Middle East? And Orient, and who's Orient? That kind of question is coming put back in that kind of old discourse. I don't want to go there, but I want to depict this film. All the actors speak their language, and most of the actors are actually playing themselves in the movie.
But is it then multilingual?
Yeah, there is a Kannada, Havik Kannada spoken by the masters of that region. And the character, the Brahmin character, speaking their language, and the Urdu-based cities speak their Urdu, and majority of the people are speaking Siddhi Kongani, which is the Hindu Kongani. And this is the only Hindu diaspora in the world, African diaspora in the world. All others are, you can see Siddhi people in Sri Lanka, they are Christian Congolese. And the people in Gujarat, Muslim, and also Sindh and Bangladesh, they have diaspora community. Especially the diaspora community in in Kutch and Sindh regions completely erased their identity and
Actually, the
assimilated
Kutch,
to.
Sindh, Gujarat, that stretch was the same set of people.
And also in Bangladesh too. And in a larger NGO right now is working from UN. I think it is kind of African diaspora in Asia. You can see that there is a scholar called Dr. Pashington Obenki. He was a Harvard professor, and he did some research and traveled, identified Siddhi community in Iran and even in Iraq. And major things that Iran, especially the Baghdad, the old Baghdad, and the new Mecca in Saudi Arabia also.
Jan, this is so interesting. I'm sure some of our people here want to know more and they want to ask 3 questions. You please raise your hand and you please introduce